Hello everyone. Since Geometry Dash Update 2.2 is coming so soon, I thought it would be nice for me to look back at what I have made so far and reflect on it all. I'll talk about my history with each level, and without further waiting, let's get started. I chose this level as a starting point as it's my first fully decorated level that doesn't just look like a layout. This was honestly a pretty decent level for how little decorating experience I had back then. I tried making this a 3-star, but it's closer to being a really bad 6-star, and the hitboxes for the final part actually just don't function. I did not know of the existence of using don't fade and don't enter, and also disabling glow on all objects, so this looks even worse than it should have. Also, this level has really bad gameplay, but it makes sense because creator bias. I obviously didn't know how this level would play for anyone besides myself because of me being inexperienced. This level is a 2 out of 10. My next level has some cool ideas. Again, the level is very disconnected and the entire second half of the level has no variation. The part with the brown boxes is probably the best thing I'd made at this point, and even the rainbow part is cool. The first part and the sky part are also interesting ideas. For the sky part, the background isn't even layered correctly with some buildings overlapping. The gameplay is honestly pretty fun. It's definitely harder than what I was trying to make, but besides that it's fun and mostly fair to the player. I actually updated this level multiple times because of comments on the level giving suggestions on what to change, especially from this one user named 11ivan, whom I don't have any contact with anymore. 4 out of 10. Although there is a level made right after this one that was supposed to be a sequel to this level, which is now lost. I don't remember what it was called, so I guess that's lost media now. This one is also very incohesive. It kind of just becomes a layout level randomly for no reason during the drop. The first part is really dark and doesn't have any designs besides some custom orbs. The gameplay is just okay. There's one mini wave click late in the level that is way harder than it should be, but it's fine aside from that. I remember being really proud of one duel I made in this level, but besides that I don't have much else to say about this. This level also has a really long end screen to fill the length of the level, which is a trend you will see starting now in my next few levels. 3 out of 10. Also, I'm sorry if I don't have much to say about these earlier levels. There's just not much interesting stuff to talk about here. A very simple modern level. I wanted to use the blue and orange color scheme for the entire level, but it just turns way less vibrant the further you get into the level for no good reason. The first part is very obviously taken from that one modern style tutorial video that everyone has watched before. The rest of the level is actually decently fine. However, it switches to rainbow randomly and I can't really explain why. And same with it becoming grayscale during the final part of the level. 4 out of 10. I totally did not name this level that just to have a higher chance of getting a rate. Anyways, this level actually has some pretty cool ideas. Like this first part is clean and even the first part of the drop is cool. The level starts falling off at the end, which seems to be a trend with my levels. I kind of just realized that scale hacked objects were a thing halfway through, so I abused those a lot, as you will see, which made the level way lower quality. Also remember that I had learned of the magic tab criteria at the time, and so I made sure this level fit all of those criterias, and it worked. This level, because of being in that tab, got way more downloads, which I was happy to see. For the gameplay, there was one click that straight up didn't function in one of the duels, so I had to adjust that. I don't really know why, but I assume it's something related to FPS. Other than that, it's fine and has some choke points. 4 out of 10. This level sucks. I think I just finished Omori at this point and hence why I created this level, but it just looks super edgy for no reason. I was wondering if it was even worth putting this level here because of how much I dislike it, but I decided that it would be best to include every level I had ever made into this video. I don't have anything else to even say, but I will say the animated text actually looks pretty neat. It's 3 out of 10. Go play Omori if you haven't already, by the way. Easily my best and cleanest level at the time. It's a remake of Back on Track but more modern themed. I think some of the level takes inspiration from an old Discord server I was in at the time where I saw a cool effect, and so I just stole that. This level also has a very funny fake straight fly in one of the ship fights. One very thoughtful decision I will say though is the coin route is higher than it looks, as in the spikes have smaller hitboxes than you think. Unfortunately, like most of my levels from this time, the level falls off in quality during the end completely. Though again, this is still nothing close to my new levels, which you will see later in this video. 5 out of 10. Yet another level named to try to get a raid. This one pretty much just falls apart for no reason halfway through. It just feels super disconnected, with everybody randomly switching to being something different. This wave is probably the only even okay part of the level. And after the wave, the level becomes completely incohesive, with some very unpolished and random effects. 3 out of 10. As you can see, this level is fully using masks to create effects. It doesn't really do much else, and also the pulsing blocks at the ball part suck. I made the spikes very simplistic so they wouldn't be the focus of the level, and I think this was inspired by some Woolsey level. The thing is, this level is just a mask, with nothing else. That is the only feature of the level. I should have probably worked more on it and added more things to the level. It's also a bit hard to really tell what is a block you can land on and what isn't. 5 out of 10. Can you see anything? I know I can't. Yeah, I have no fucking clue why the beginning is like that, but other than that, it's a pretty simple level. I thought that these arcs on the top and bottom were cool, and being constricted to less space than usual was a cool idea, but that idea really isn't explored much with how basic the gameplay is. There's also another level that completely falls apart at the end. Although the wave part doesn't look good on 16:9 because I still used an iPad at this point, which is closer to 4:3. Anyways, this level is a 5 out of 10. While this was probably my best level at the time, I don't really have anything I want to say for this. This is just an average 6 star with boring ideas. I will say though, this ball part is the best thing I had made until this point, and I was very happy with it. Other than that, this level does fall in quality during the last third of the level. Also another really long end screen to fill length, 6 out of 10. Do not even ask why I named the level Wilsey Moment. I literally had no ideas for the name. This level uses trans colors, so yippee I guess. This level is very simplistic, but is unfortunately also really bland, as it feels really plain with basically all of the designs being a single solid color. This makes the level feel super empty, though from what I can remember that's kind of what I was going for anyways. I wanted to do more simplistic things, so I didn't need to put as much effort into just placing blocks. I thought it looked better anyways. It would also be much more original than any other style at the time I made this. 6 out of 10. This I would say is where I finally became decent at creating, and is my first good level. I love the colors and the simplicity of everything here. It's just a really clean and chill level, and even though I made this when I was 12, it still holds up pretty well today. It being simplistic works well with the vibe I was going for, and same goes for the colors. I think this level also really fully established my niche well, being neo-design and modern. Although the first part actually takes heavy inspiration from some unfinished level I had seen on Discord, which is what made me motivated to start a new level. And so I just stole that preview and made more original stuff after the first part. This actually did get some mod sins, but unfortunately didn't get rated. But of course, if you know anything about me, this is not the last time you will see this level in this video. 7 out of 10. I have to be honest, I don't like this level much at all. It is generic, boring, with really uninteresting gameplay. The decoration feels copy-pasted throughout because it basically is, and this was also my first time making a demon, let alone an extreme which had another set of complications. Mainly that this was the first time I made an entire layout and then decorated it. Before this point, every level I made the gameplay and decoration together, until I finished one part and then moved on to the next. But for this one, since it was my first time making a layout that I actually planned on decorating, I didn't consider how I would decorate the level while making the layout. This led to me basically having no interesting decoration ideas at all when decorating, and so the level is boring and repetitive for no good reason. Although verifying the level was a pretty big challenge, but it was nice being able to balance the level myself and change annoying timings, so I'm happy with the enjoyability of the level. 5 out of 10. Anyway, since I have nothing else to say here, I would really appreciate if you commented anything on this video so far, or anything I could improve or anything that you did like about the video. I prefer criticism and actual feedback for what I'm doing, so that would be nice. Okay, so remember when I said I had established style with variants? Well, that was a fucking lie. The fact this level exists is surprising. This is so different from everything I made before this. This was my first challenge level, being a wave challenge, and my first time making a non-modern style level. And it's dark. Making the gameplay was surprisingly not too bad. It's definitely just me making up clicks in the song in my head and making gameplay to that. I love how this looks, especially for how this was my first ever time making a level of this style. It also looks so satisfying on video and fits the song well. Now unfortunately this level doesn't have a good reputation. Firstly, the level is very learning, and secondly, this level did actually get some victories, but then I verified the buffed version of the level as an update to make the level harder. 8 out of 10. My first and only time hosting a collab. I was debating on whether I should even include this here because I only made some of the gameplay, but I ended up deciding to include it. So basically I had a level in mind where I wanted to use this song and have the theme be Purple Glow. Hence I thought the best way to do that would be to host a collab. I have to appreciate the fact that anyone even wanted to build in this, let alone finish all their parts. But to judge it as a level by itself, it's really bad and boring. Vortex's part and the first part are the only okay looking parts, and the rest of them vary wildly in quality. It just doesn't feel cohesive. The only cohesive element of it is the colors. Although the gameplay is just boring, and that's the best way to describe the entire level. It's boring. 4 out of 10. This is a redecoration of the legendary challenge D by Bo. I made this in a day and it's clean, I guess. It is just D but with more effects, so I have nothing else to say. 7 out of 10. Visual Fallacy is my best level and it will forever be that way. It's inspired by Phantasmagoria by Wit because of how much I like that level. I basically just chose a Zobrak song and made gameplay split into 4 sections and went from there. The designs look really pretty and it's also well optimized, being only 15k objects. I love this level a lot, it's just so pretty and neat, it's the most creative I've been with a level. 11 out of 10. Although the final dash orb I've wanted to do for a while, but I think this is the perfect level to do it on, and it makes the level longer. It kind of acts as an end screen in a way like my older levels where I use the end screen to make the level longer. I saw an impossible 2-player wave challenge a while ago by Lexi with one big and one mini wave, and I thought it would be cool to make a 1-player version of that. While you can barely see anything here, I like this level a lot. It's pretty unique and I like the atmosphere of the level combined with the song. Also the gameplay is really neat. 8 out of 10. Also this is somehow my first level related to Omori in some way. I somehow made this in 2 days. I had the decoration of the level in my head perfectly before I started decorating, and I executed it perfectly as well as with the masking and the stars in the background. It all works perfectly with the song, especially the flow of the icon movement and the teleport portals. 9 out of 10. This was also the hardest twin copter challenge for a while. So this is the sequel to Variants. As a sequel, I like how it builds upon what Variants had done, and adds more to it and its ideas. At this point I had realized that Variants was something special, so I wanted to remake it with similar ideas and continue from there. As you can see, the first two parts are heavily inspired by it, and even the transition into the red part is similar. After that point, the level kind of does its own thing. Also, fun fact, the stars from this part are directly taken from Daydream. Also, another fun fact, this was my first and only rated level. I remember kind of just being shocked when I saw it was rated, but after that sunk in, after like an hour, I didn't really feel anything more. I also had to update this level multiple times to nerf it again and again until it was easy enough for the rating that I was given, which was 7 stars. I'll touch on this later in the video as well, so stay tuned and watching for that. 9 out of 10. A top 10 challenge inspired by most LXVI, this less modded map. Now this level has a decent amount of context, but it's not worth explaining. The gameplay is full of double clicks and strange click patterns, which, while being hard to learn for others, is actually really fun to pull off and very satisfying both to watch and to play. Also, the decoration fits the level well, like really well, with how the entire level is separated from the background. I don't know how I fit the vibe so perfectly. Also, I just love this song so much, it's so good. 10 out of 10. Anyway, since now all of the regular finished levels are over, I'll quickly cover some unfinished levels I did not include in the main list. I really like this, and I'm kind of sad I didn't decide to finish it. I'd already finished the entire layout, but I kind of realized while building it that this is not the style of level I would want to be known for, so discontinued it. Also, this preview of the level is 9 months old at this point. This level does not have an actual name. I was going to make this be the sequel to Visual Fallacy, but then I lost motivation, and now of course 2.2 coming out means I'm not finishing this. The layout is actually really fun though, despite it being slightly higher CPS than what most people are like playing. It is not high CPS for me though. I won't rate this out of 10 because even this first part is unfinished, so there's no point discussing it further. I will say I love the gameplay for this though, it's really fun. Anyways, well, now I have some thoughts and some learnings from all these years of creating, so I'll list all of them. Firstly, every single time I made a new level, I thought it had a chance of getting rated. Every single time. Even from the first levels I listed till the levels that I ended up actually getting rated, every time I thought each one of them was going to have a shot of being rated and that they should be rated. Of course, if you have watched this video so far, you would know that some of those earlier levels are not up to standards at all, even for the time that they were built during. So basically, you will always overrate your levels in terms of how good they are, and that is something to keep in mind. Also, I may as well mention, you should absolutely never value your levels on the chances of them being rated. A level getting rated is completely external. It is literally less fun to build with the purpose of getting a rated level, and I would never recommend doing it. Secondly, I am lazy. Now there are two trends that were in my levels for a while which show this. One being that for a very long time, every level I made seemed to get much worse at quality during the end of the level. That is because I obviously just wanted to get the levels out, so I rushed them. The other being that a lot of my levels, especially the older ones, have really long end screens. I mean, some of them are literally above 5 seconds for basically no reason besides making the level longer with less effort. I will say though, I think the visual fallacy final dash arc kind of acts as an end screen if you think about it. It exists to make the level longer with less effort. Except the song also ends at that final click, so this was really the only way to make the level longer. Also, I frequently sample objects and assets from my own levels. Thirdly, I take a lot of inspiration for most of my levels. Basically, every single level of mine in some way takes inspiration from something else in an obvious way. Also, in general, I am really inspired by what other levels I see and like. Unfortunately, the levels are always harder than what I expect them to be because of creator bias. Some of the first levels I made that were supposed to be 3 to 5 stars ended up being closer to 7 or 8 stars. Also, all 3 of the challenges I made are way harder for everyone else than myself because of them being learny. And visual fallacy was supposed to be a really low end extreme, and while I did verify it in 200 attempts, it ended up being nearly list worthy according to some other people. Also, miscellaneous fact, the only levels that are not fully solo that I listed here are Hypher, which is a mega collab, and the original, easier version of Spaceboy, which is verified by Phonetic, but the update was verified by me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, please interact with this video in any meaningful way like subscribing or even commenting your thoughts. Doesn't matter if they're positive or negative, anything that helps with the algorithm. I really want this video to do well since I spent a lot of effort making it, so that would be awesome. Thanks and goodbye.